So, final part about user libraries that I'll discuss is contributing to the community library or user library. So, the first thing I should explain is that actually there's going to be a section on the forum called user library. The first section will explain the process. The general idea is that we're going to have a post per contributor, which will enable them to actually specify details of what objects that they've and patches they've contributed to, and give some description about them, etc. And the idea is that then other users can communicate with you directly there. Now, to contribute, you will need to contact us to get to do two things. So the first thing you need to do before you start anything is to go to github.com and sign up. This is completely free. This is where we actually host all of the user library. So and it gives us security here. Once you've got your username and password, obviously you might have to activate, etc. You can then sign in. You don't actually need to use the GitHub interface for anything. The Axoloti will do it all automatically. But there are advanced things we might want to do in the future. But anyway, so once you've got that, what you'll need to do is to tell us your GitHub username. We do not need to know your password, just your username. And then what we will do is to allocate a contributor prefix. Now this is kind of your ID that's known within Axoloti. So if we actually go to Axoloti, we can see I've already got one here. If we look in the user library, you can see that we actually put each of the objects underneath your contributor ID here. And there is a strict rule for the community library, which is basically you should never edit or add new objects except for underneath your contributor prefix. And that's very important, because otherwise we can get some technical issues if you do it. And obviously, really, you should be editing other people's objects. So, once we've done that, then you're going to be free to actually come into the preferences here and set yourself up as a contributor. To do that, what you need to do is to edit the community tab here and simply come into here, and as you can see, so I've already prefixed it here, so put in your prefix here, your username, and then your password into here. And then what you need to do is to do an init. So you need to reinitialize the user library just the first time when you actually register yourself as a contributor. Okay, at that point you're actually ready to go. So what I'm going to do is to show you how we do it. So if we now come into, I've actually got some objects in my private library. I'm going to actually share a new one, which is this script one-liner. Now, important to know, when you actually are developing Axo objects, they exist within a subdirectory, and it's important that you get that, you keep that subdirectory name correct. Now you'll see that because this is my private library, I don't use my prefix, so I've just got them under objects. But in the contributor library, I have to put them into the technical area, the TB side. So if I come into my Axoloti directory here, go into contrib, objects, and you can see I've got TB. I'm going to need that file here, but ignore that one. It's for test purposes only. And what I can do here is I can copy this script directory here, and I can just put it into here. Okay, now what you will notice happens here. Now if I do reload object library, you'll see I get an error. Now the reason is because I've moved it into this TB directory. So its name is now actually TB script one-liner, whereas it used to just be script one-liner. Now it's important that obviously when you move things into this, the contributors library, the community library, you have to check the objects before. Now it's a good point to note that at the moment I've just done it on my local diff. It's not until I do synchronize that it actually sent out there. So please make sure you test and that there are no errors before you actually contribute it. So now what I need to do is I just need to edit this object, and it's going to be in. So our directory is documents, Axoloti contributor, objects, So this is just in my home directory, and then objects, and then script. So okay, so that's the file we want. And then we edit this object, and then all we need to do is, so it's basically saying here that the identity has changed, and because it says it's changed it from 727, and its true ID is this. So this means that actually that this is the correct ID. So all I need to actually do is to actually copy this one here, and actually come down to here, and then just literally change the object over here. And then I'm done. If I now reload this. Now, one thing to point out here is that error, and now the error doesn't exist. Now, so I'm free to do it. I know that the object works, so all I now need to do is to do synchronize library, and then what will happen is it's sent up to the server, and then suddenly we have a new object available in the library. And it's as simple as that. One thing I will point out, I didn't have that object already in my search path, because in this particular example I didn't have the privates on the search path anymore. You'll obviously have to rename them if you do, if you have copies of them. Anyway, that's about it. Hopefully that's useful. If you've got any questions, obviously you can ask on the forum.